Hi students, good afternoon. So in continuation to our earlier modules, let me introduce in this video module the fourth function, controlling. So you have understood planning, organizing and directing. So this controlling is the last function or fourth function of management. So in this module you will understand controlling concept, its meaning and its silent features. Keeping in mind this purpose, this module is meant for understanding the concept of controlling. So the controlling has close link with planning. Planning and control are two separate functions of management, yet they are very closely related because after controlling function, again the controlling function leads to start planning function. So in that way you can see that the controlling function is maybe you can say that next to that again the planning starts, right? So without the basic of the planning, controlling activities becomes baseless, and without controlling, planning becomes a meaningless exercise. That is the way you can see the both the functions are interaligned, because the controlling function becomes the base for planning. Again planning is again going to become a kind of base further to start the controlling function. So in that way if you see this the diagram, so we all understood that the planning is all about the goals, objectives, strategies and plans, and organizing is something related to designing, structuring and gathering all the resources, developing network among all the positions of the organizations. As far as leading is concerned, so it is all about motivation, leadership, communication, individual and group behavior. Of course, we are going to discuss maybe after this session we'll start the individual and group behavior. So all these things comes under the leading functions. So the last function, that is the controlling, is something related to fixing standards, measuring the performance and comparing the performance, and then finding the differences and then developing action plan as far as the controlling function is concerned. Once we start the comparison action plan, then again that leads to planning function. So this way you can see that these two functions are closely interrelated. So then if you see the controlling, it's the definitions. Controlling is any process that guides activity towards some predetermined goals. The essence of the concept is in determining whether the activity is the achieving desired result or not. So this is all about it is checking the status of the organizations. So further if you see the organization is something, it is a continuous process. In the continuous process you will find there are many activities are happening, right? So all the activities are directed towards achieving its common goal. So the controlling function is used to check whether we are moving in right direction or not. So that is the main. So further if you just look at this the function, the concept of controlling, it's a process of monitoring, comparing and correcting performance and then taking action to ensure desired result. So ultimately we are going to get the desired result by just putting everything in the order. So for that we are using this controlling function as the main mechanism. So it sees to it that the right thing happens in the right ways and at the right time. So it is all about checking and then looking at whether we are in the right process or not. So that's why if you see the concept, it is something where we are, that is something about measurement, and where we are planned to be, that is evaluations, and how can we get on track, so that is again corrections. So this is something the concept of the controlling. And if you look at the the features of this controlling function, it is something one of the managerial the functions as we just understood. So next to the leading function, and then the process of gathering and then feeding back information about the performance, so that decisions makers can compare actual result with the planned result. So further, if you see that it helps to check errors and then take corrective measures, so that the deviation from the standards are minimized. So in the process, what happens, so you'll find we need to check whether we are in the right direction and at right time in a right manner. So we will just check that and then see that how we are. So if there are any kind of the deviations, and then if you are not on the right track, so then the necessary corrections may be taken at the right time. So for that we are using this function. So if you just look at these features, the control is a forward looking. So because one can control further happening and then not that past. So then control is both an executive process and then a result oriented. Each manager has to perform control function in the organizations, because they have to see that they are on the right track and then going to achieve the organizational goals. And then to know that, so they are using this controlling function. So this is a continuous process, and then managerial controlling flows a definite pattern and then timetable. So month after month and year after year on a continuous basis. So continuously, if we see that checking of the things and then reviewing all the activities. So a continuous, the process, again it has its own kind of the system, and that is a coordinated and integrated system. So data collected from different purposes and then should be reconciled and then they used for the corrective measures. So in that way you can see the controlling function is something, at the end we use it and then check whether we are working as per our plan or not, and then we'll see whether we are in the right direction or not. It involves the measurement, it involves the feedback, it involves a kind of the checking the process, everything. So that is what just all about introduction to the controlling, and then further we will try to explore this function in the coming the slides. And then thank you very much. Let us meet in the video 43.